Our next tree is botanically known as Dalbergia sisu. Its common name is Indian rosewood. Indian rosewood trees are native to the Indian subcontinent in Southeast Asia. In this part of the world, they're an economically important tree. Their wood is harvested to make furniture, cabinetry, and musical instruments. Often, the foliage is used to feed livestock. In Phoenix, Indian rosewood trees have a mostly evergreen habit with a dense canopy of bright green leaves. With ample irrigation, Indian rosewood trees can grow quite tall, up to 60 feet.
The overall form of Indian rosewood trees is really interesting. Often the main trunk grows in a crooked manner, topped by an asymmetrical, spreading canopy. The lush Indian rosewood tree has bright green, aspen-like foliage that flutter gracefully in the wind. The stout trunks of mature Indian rosewood trees have light-colored bark that is rough and fissured. This feature can add an interesting earthy textural element to the understory of most any landscape. In the early spring, Indian rosewoods produce copious, fragrant, but very small white flowers. These flowers are superseded by light brown, flat seed pods that eventually drop to the ground during the late summer and fall. Indian rosewood trees grow well in Phoenix, provided they're well watered, especially during the hot summer months. They really flourish during our monsoon season. Their growth quickens in the heat of July when our monsoons bring higher humidities and thunderstorms. Now, because they're native to semi-tropical India, Indian rosewood trees will suffer freeze damage below 28 degrees Fahrenheit. These cold temperatures can significantly damage very young trees in the landscape, even to the point of death. But older trees are quite resilient to the cold. They usually only sustain damage to the leaves and will quickly recover once the weather warms in the early spring. Since the early 1990s, there's been a tremendous surge in the popularity of Indian rosewoods as a landscape tree in the greater Phoenix area. They fill a distinct niche as a large, fast-growing shade tree for people who want green landscapes. Indian rosewood is not a desert landscape tree. This hot weather, monsoon-friendly tree can be integrated into many landscape settings, creating the feeling of an oasis in the desert. They are now planted extensively in residential and commercial landscapes, parks, municipal areas, and along streets throughout the city.
Indian rosewood is a tree that bequeaths a cool softness to landscapes in Phoenix. With their bright green canopies and abundant shade, interesting twisted trunk, and fissured bark, Indian rosewood trees can visually change even the harshest landscape setting in Phoenix into an exotic aspen in the desert resort.